Mic, lights, camera. Hit the like button. We live, gang. What's going on? We are live. How's everybody doing? Snarky, what's good? I did do a video a year ago. Just the whole mess. What's going on? We just getting started. How you guys doing in the chat? Smoke with me 1988. How we doing in the chat? We just getting started, gang. Salute to this Tuesday afternoon. I wanted to get started on my guy. This guy right here, I like to call Lord Jamar a D-list New York supervillain, right? Because Lord Jamar acts like a D-list New York supervillain. One of the ones that Spider-Man doesn't even beat up. He gets like Cloak and Dagger to beat him up, right? And I like Cloak and Dagger. But Lord Jamar is back at it again, gang. I meant to get to this one, but he's mad all over again. He just did an interview all over again. And he's coming at Professor Dave. He's coming at Godfrey and the notorious Dante, right? From the Godfrey podcast. And Professor Dave went and cooked him, right? Again, like a few days ago. And I've been meaning to get to this one. Beast Nation, what's good? Trey Lou, Donta, Sharon the guitarist. Successful, all right? Listen, man, I've been meaning to get back to this guy because one of my favorite guys to get at is Lord Jamar. But I'm gonna tell you why, gang. It's kind of a selfish reason. Because I feel like we used to really revere these guys, right? I'm going to play the interview that he's in. He did an interview with, I believe, Danny from the Stop. Did an interview. I believe Danny from the Stop has another channel called Quiet Part Out Loud. And he did an interview with Lord Jamar a few weeks ago, right? And he got him talking back on Godfrey, and he's still pretty much calling Godfrey a snake and saying that he got ambushed and that Professor Dave used science words that he shouldn't know the meaning of. If you are in an argument and someone starts using science words, I can't make this up, gang. And he said something in this interview, and I'm going to play the interview. We're going to get there. But he said something in this interview, and I said, God damn it, he ruined that word. He tried to say by Professor Dave asking him to define scientific words like weight, the word weight, like weight, how much things weigh. That, in essence, was tricknology. Gang, I cannot make this up. We used to use that word in defiance. I'm not falling for the tricknology. By Professor Dave telling him to define weight and gravity, right, Jess? He somehow was using tricknology. He said, see, that's that tricknology. I'm embarrassed that I ever used to fall for this stuff. I'm just going to be honest. Not that I'm embarrassed for the 5% stuff that they used to preach. Not that I'm embarrassed for that, right? I'm not embarrassed for the old bean pie brother. I used to buy bean pies. Bean pie is pretty good. I used to get the Final Call paper, read that, all the Farrakhan stuff. I'm not embarrassed about that. But what I'm embarrassed before is that we used to think that these rappers kind of knew it. They knew what they were talking about. And they used to use words like that, technology, right? And we used to really, really fall for stuff like that. Television, tele-live-vision, right? All this little shit. All this little stuff. All this little stuff they used to say, right? And for a time, it was good. We used to believe in Lord Jamar. Salute to Sadat X. Sadat X still the homie, and Grand Pooba still the homie. They stay out the way. The brand new BNs, right? Punks jump up to get beat down, right? All that stuff like that from the 90s. That is never going to not be classics, okay? They got classics. Let's just be honest. And Lord Jamar pivoted into acting. I thought Lord Jamar was cool. I thought he was that guy for a minute. He was on Oz, right? Miss Hummon says, who is this guy? I'm not familiar. Okay, let me get into it. Right? Let me get into it. Homebody in the building. Let me get into it. Miss Hummus. And like, I try to do these shows as if the people that I'm talking about are almost unknown. And I try to approach it from that. Like, I don't want to, I try not to act like you already know who they are. So we're gonna break down Lord Jamar. We got time, right? We got time. So we're gonna break down Lord Jamar, right? I'm gonna quote my movie. You guys, if you've been here for any amount of time, you know I got one of my favorite movies. It's called Galaxy Quest, right? If you ain't seen Galaxy Quest, go see that. And he says, explain it to them as if you would a child, right? I love that line, right? So I'm going to explain Lord Jamar as if I would a child. We're going to go back because you got to understand. Lord Jamar used to be the man out here in these streets. He claimed that he was such the man out here in these streets that him and Diddy was vying for the same women, right? At one point in time, him and Eric Sermon and all these other guys that's known for the Green Eye Bandit, these guys that's known for bagging them and tagging them, he was out here, right? Salute the Buffalo Soldier said the lessons never claimed that the earth was flat. Yeah, Jamar must have missed that. But Lord Jamar is a flat earther, in case you guys don't know. And this is where this starts at. Lord Jamar is a flat earther. And he ran into a buzzsaw back in 2024, right? According to Professor Dave, I just watched Professor Dave's whole video breakdown, and apparently him and Jamar, I believe they got into it around November of 2024. That's how long ago this allegedly happened, right? So I want to get into Lord Jamar so we can all know what's going on. Lord Jamar was one of these guys who turned into a flat earther. They get converted, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. Some of these flat earth guys, the guys that really talk the talk, oh yeah. If you let them talk long enough, you'll start questioning the earth. Gang, before we get started, the earth is round. Okay, so before you even get going, the earth is round. We're not acknowledging anybody in the chat trying to kick that knowledge, that technology, right? Before we go any further, earth is round. Look up in the sky. Every planet you see up there is round. Why the hell would the earth be flat? Right? Start there. Stars, the sun is round. Like, why would the earth be flat? Everything else is round. Okay. But Lord Jamar let these guys get into his head. And some people are just contrarians, right? Some people they like to believe stuff just because it is the opposite of what everybody else believes. Okay? But let me start at the start. Let's start at Lord Jamar. Before we get to him still being mad at Godfrey for setting him up. And before we get to him still being mad at Professor Dave for calling him a stupid mother effer, right? Oh yeah, Professor Dave gets busy. He called him a stupid mother effer more times than I would even say. I wouldn't even say it that many times. He called him a lot of shit. Stupid bitch, everything. But we're gonna go from the start because I think Lord Jamar, He misunderstood, but he really not. We understand who he is, but he's still misunderstood. He was born in that era where you had to be manly men, right? He was literally he was Lil Boozy before Lil Boozy. Okay? Lord Jamar was that guy on Vlad's couch, arms folded, holding it down for the manly men. Right? He was that guy before you got Boozy. It was Lord Jamar. Respect it. Respect it. Put some respect on his name. So Lord Jamar was born Lorenzo de Chalice on September 17, 1968. He's an American rapper, a music producer, actor, and a prominent cultural commentator. He's best known as a founding member of the influential, socially conscious 1990s hip-hop group Brand Nubian. Gang, let's not have we're not going to make no mistake. Brand Nubian was the shit back then, gang. Let's just be honest. I know we try to rewrite history, especially since he got into it with Eminem. A lot of people be like, yo, you weren't even the best in your own group, right? It is what it is. That's debatable. A lot of people say Pooba was the best in Brand Nubians. But end of the day, at one time, Brand Nubians was like that. It was like that. All right, let's call it a buck. So let me continue. In recent years, he has gained widespread visibility as a podcaster and a frequent guest on interview platforms like Vlad TV, where his unfiltered and controversial opinions on hip-hop culture, social issues, and alternative theories frequently spark internet debate. His music career in Brand Nubian. So let's get into that. All right. Jamar co-founded Brand Nubians in 1989 alongside Grand Puba, Sadat X, and DJ Alamo. The group became icons of golden era hip-hop, known for incorporating the teachings of the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths, into their music. Their 1990 debut album, One for All, is widely considered a hip-hop classic. Okay? That album is considered a classic by most hip-hop heads, gang. You be disingenuous. I'm not going to say it's a classic or it ain't, but you be disingenuous to say that that first Brand Nubian album wasn't solid. Let's just say that. All right? Following a brief hiatus in the mid-90s, Jamar released solo material, including the 5% album in 2006. I don't remember if I listened to the album. I probably did not. Beyond his own music, Jamar has an eye for talent. He is credited with discovering the revolutionary hip-hop duo Dead Prez. Dead Prez is solid, gang. That's when Jamar was Jamar. That's when Jamar was putting his contributions to hip-hop to good work, to good use. He brought Dead Prez out. If you haven't seen Dead Prez, it's bigger than hip-hop. Hip-hop. Dead Prez was a breath of fresh air in hip-hop at a really rough time, right? And helping them sign to Loud Records. More recently, he acted as an early mentor and manager for the rising hip-hop artist Stove God Cooks, right? So he was a manager and mentor to Stove God Cooks. Everybody knows Stove God Cooks is dope. His acting career. In addition to his music, Jamar transitioned into a successful character actor, appearing in several high-profile television series. He was on Oz. He played Supreme Allah for the acclaimed HBO prison drama. I think Lord Jamar was just close in proximity to New York people and was able to get into these roles. Not saying he's bad or good, but he got in some really good roles, gang. And it's all based out of New York stuff. Like The Sopranos appeared in a minor recurring role as Anthony Tony Peppers on The Sopranos. So he was on Oz, Sopranos. He was on Law and Order, SUV, made multiple guest appearances as Kevin Ellison. And he was on The Night Of. Me and wifey watched that. That was 2016. That was on an HBO limited crime series. A guy, I believe he was a Muslim guy, went to prison for something I believe he did not do. Ended up in jail and ended up becoming part of the system. The system consumed him, and he turned into the worst thing, you could turn into from that point. All right? So all of that is part of what we're talking about when we're discussing Lord Jamar, who now has put a stain on his illustrious career. So we're not going to act like we don't know him or he didn't have an illustrious career. Okay. Now, let's continue. Podcasting and the cultural commentary. Today, Lord Jamar is equally famous or infamous for his media presence. He frequently appears on Vlad TV, YouTube clips, and hosts his own commentaries. He is known for strict traditionalism. He frequently criticized modern shifts in hip hop, including what he views as over commercialization of the genre and blurring of traditional masculine fashion boundaries. Okay. Guess like men wearing skirts, right? And I guess the whole thing that went viral a couple of days about the guy with the thong on. I guess ASAP Rocky allegedly still haven't confirmed or denied that was a thong he was wearing at his show. And Boozy had a fit, so stuff like that, right? Jamar wouldn't be open to stuff like that. And I did see a weird looking ad about that. It was kind of crazy. Some dude was dunking a basketball with a thong on. That was kind of wild. I'm like, all right, okay, y'all pushing this a little bit. All right. Conspiracy theories. He has openly shared highly unorthodox views, including expressing skepticism about outer space and advocating for flat earth theories. His public feuds. His blunt commentary has led to high-profile verbal feuds with artists like Eminem, Royce da 5'9", and Kanye West. And what I was about to say earlier, we're not going to make it like Brand Nubians wasn't that because he dissed Eminem. He's always had an issue with Eminem being white and getting so much praise in hip-hop. Okay, he's always had a problem with that, which gave him problems with Royce da 5'9" because Royce da 5'9" wasn't having it. I don't remember his exact issues with Kanye West. Maybe over the slavery was a choice. I don't remember why he was beefing with Kanye West. I don't specifically know that one, but I do know he had a lot of issues, right? So that's in a nutshell, Lord Jamar. Right? Now, before we get to any further on this, you got to understand Lord Jamar has had ups and downs with more people like DJ Vlad. Lord Jamar actually had a problem with Vlad because Vlad has some issues. He said some things about Farrakhan. He thought Farrakhan said something that he didn't say. And Vlad had a problem. Lord Jamar had a problem with that. He left he wasn't going to leave Vlad at first, but he left it because he said that unless Vlad apologized, right? It was something about, somebody reported that Farrakhan said something that he didn't say. And when Vlad wouldn't apologize because he came out and said, he criticized Farrakhan for saying it. Farrakhan never said it. Vlad was like, I will apologize if he comes on my platform. Just trying to milk it. Just being defiant on some jerk shit. So Godfrey and Lord Jamar had an issue with that. Now, they were going to stay on there. Let's be clear. They both were going to stay on there. Right? Lord Jamar and Godfrey were going to stay if Vlad had apologized. So let's be clear. They weren't like, soon as they heard this, they were all in for the black people, this, that, and the third. But when Vlad wouldn't apologize, right? And we're going to get to that one, Ra. Ra said if the money right, he'd forgive Vlad in a heartbeat. He already forgave Vlad. He already went back, but we're going to get there. Now, Vlad was refusing to apologize. I think Vlad was like, I'll do it privately. Some nonsense. But whatever it was, right? Whatever it was, long story short, they couldn't agree. And Lord Jamar said, you know what? If he won't apologize, then we're not going back to the show. We're going to use this as a moment to show some unity. So Godfrey and Lord Jamar walked away from Vlad because they were regulars on Vlad TV. They walked away from the show. He used to do a lot of those roles that Lord Jamar got and a lot of that visibility he got was because he was a guest on Vlad TV. And Godfrey too. I didn't really know who Godfrey was until he kept appearing on Vlad TV. And that's how Godfrey got the name he got to this day. But they walked away. Now, before he walked away, it was Vlad that talked Godfrey into getting his own podcast, the Godcast, right? The God Hour with God, I think it was the God Hour or the God Pod or something. And Lord Jamar would repeatedly tell him, I can't do that. I'm not, that's not me. And he would still go on Vlad and do these great interviews that go viral every time. Vlad was like, listen, I'm going to help you. I believe Vlad put money and help Lord Jamar start that podcast, right? I'm almost certain that without Vlad, there would be no Lord Jamar podcast. I remember him pressuring him for years. Finally got him to do it. I think he even went on there as a guest. So they were really, really cool. Now, after the incident with Farrakhan and Vlad, Jamar and Godfrey, because we didn't even really get a Godfrey on a podcast till he really went on, if I'm not mistaken, the Godfrey show and started doing it with, the Lord Jamar show and started doing it with Lord Jamar, right? So they were working together on the podcast. So they were in unison, lockstep. We're not going back. So they started to build their platform, and for a time it was good. They brought in Rod Digger, salute to Rod Digger. And for a time, the show was cooking. Now, Godfrey's podcast started to do big because he was just a guest on people's stuff, but he decided to get his own, and he started his own podcast. The set was bigger. He put more into it. I'm just going to be honest. Lord Jamar's whole setup always seemed small, and it always seemed low budget. It always seemed he didn't know what he was doing. I'm about to get a new computer. There's always something. The sound would be off, or this. It was always a problem. This old man shit was always something he wasn't investing in the podcast, right? So it's like, as we started to see it, Godfrey started to advance past Lord Jamar. I'm just going to be honest. He had a better presentation. He's funnier, smarter, right? So one thing led to another, and Lord Jamar started going on Godfrey's show. Now, Godfrey running a different thing. He's really doing entertainment. He got co-hosts. He got guests. He's bringing in bada bang, bing bang. So at this point, Lord Jamar is just a guest. But Lord Jamar is mad arrogant, so he's coming into the show with this I'm Jamar type of thing. And so he starts talking all this flat earth, big bone and brolic stuff. And most people are not equipped to deal with this. Let's just be honest. Most people, if a flat earther came in your house right now, right, and started to hammer you about the flat earth, you probably got 5 minutes of conversation for that before he wears you down with a bunch of stuff that's so-called facts that ain't facts. It's really technology, right? But they're going to wear you down with a bunch of nonsense that you didn't have time to prepare for because you don't care. So Godfrey, because you know the earth is round, you know this. But they started off with, so why do you know the earth is round? Is that because someone told you? Right? Right there, they already got, if you feed into that, they already got you. Right? They already got you. So most people they're not prepared. So Lord Jamar comes in there, comes into the podcast, and they're talking, and he's overwhelming these guys because they know that the earth is round, but they can't articulate that. It's just something you know. You just know it. Yes, my teacher told me in the 2nd grade. We see the earth. Well, who told you that? Well, is it because they showed you? Show me that the earth is round. So whatever picture you show them, they're going to debunk your picture. Whatever knowledge you say, they're going to debunk, right? So most normal Americans aren't prepared to deal with the flat earther in their home. Okay? You're not, because they sit and watch this stuff all day. They memorize knowledge that's not real. And you can't tell them no different. So end of the day, right? I even watched, gang, I watched a flat earther documentary. I said, you know what? I'm gonna watch this thing from beginning to end. Because I want to hear out their mouth why they keep telling me the earth is flat and why they think I'm not listening. I watched a documentary, gang. It was tough. Tough watch. But by the end of the documentary, they were turning on each other. They couldn't even stick together on their own documentary. By the end of the documentary, the whole thing had fell apart. The whole documentary fell apart. And you know what the flat earther said? That documentary was a hit piece. Ain't this your documentary? So Godfrey would, I'm sorry, Lord Jamar would sit on Godfrey's platform, and pretty much 2-on-1, 3-on-1, they couldn't do nothing with him. Because when you're arrogant and you're ignorant, you tend to get loud, right? And the simple fact of the matter is, gang, and if I see somebody talking about the earth is flat in there, you're gonna get on a timeout. I'm just gonna be honest. And we're not doing this today. You're not gonna work everybody with no nonsense in the chat. All right? The earth round around here. I don't know what y'all got going on. But end of the day, right? He would go on there, they have nothing for him. And Dante's getting irritated. Dante is the co-host. He's a comedian, but he's starting to get irritated. Right? And Lord Jamar is so belligerent that he's like, you know what? Dante figures out or stumbles on Professor Dave, who debunks flat earthers for a living. He does it all day. Makes a really good living. Got like 2 million followers or something crazy like that. So he does this all day. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I got time. Let me know. I'll link in. Send me the link. Right? Professor Dave agrees. Jamar agrees because Jamar thinks Jamar hasn't had no competition, right? It's like the best high school basketball team in the state, and they beating everybody in the state, right? But they state really ain't as good as they think, and then they run across the real team. The real team come. Oh yeah, they good. Oh, these guys real good. They alley hooping and everything. They doing no look passes. Oh yeah. They came to play, right? So end of the day, Dante gets Professor Dave to agree to come and debate Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar agrees. Took a few days or whatever. They set it up. Now, Lord Jamar comes into this thing unprepared, never looked up who Professor Dave is, right? Becomes absolute chocolate chip cookies in there. Cooked and uncooked. He ate them before he cooked them, put them in the oven, cooked them, let them cool off, ate them some more. He just ate them just nonstop. Lord Jamar got so mad he started calling him homosexual jokes, and he started hitting them with all kind of innuendos like, oh, what does down mean? Yeah, you go down on your dad. Stuff like silly stuff, right? It got so bad that Lord Jamar was telling Godfrey to kick him off the screen and to delete the episode. Mind you, it costs Godfrey every time he brings these people in. Every time he records a podcast, he's paying for the space and everything. He's paying these people. I don't know if he paid Professor Dave or not, but the podcast is for to make money. Every time you do an hour of podcast and you delete it, you lose money. So that one was going to be gold, right? So he asks, a long story short, right? And let me read the rest of it because it explains it even better than I did. Why is Lord Jamar mad at Godfrey and Professor Dave? Lord Jamar remains angry at comedian Godfrey and science communicator Professor Dave Farina, salute to Dave Farina, due to a viral, deeply embarrassing flat earth debate. This incident led to a public fracturing of Jamar's reputation and personal relationships. The lingering hostility stems from 3 distinct core issues. the on-air ambush and public humiliation in early 2025. So the video, the one that started, it was in 2024, November. When they actually got to the situation of the podcast of him coming on, that was in the beginning of 2025. So the November 2024 is where it started for Professor Dave and these guys going back and forth. They didn't get it done apparently till early 2025. So like a month or so later or something, I guess. I don't know. Jamar appeared on the In Godfrey We Trust podcast. During the episode, Godfrey brought on Professor Dave, who systematically and aggressively dismantled Jamar's flat earth arguments using basic physics and observational evidence. Not only did he dismantle him, but what happened was when Professor Dave was waiting to go live, Jamar started talking crazy about the guy. Jamar didn't know he was listening. So it already started, Professor. He put him on edge already. He's like, oh, yeah. Then he turned him into Lex Luthor, right? Because now he wants to kill everybody in the room, right? But he only got to kill you, Jamar. So he came in, coming in hot. Came in, they had his mic a little low, but he did all that. He did his thing. And he streamed it to his own people because he knew they was going to try to cut him, which they did. As it started getting so bad for Lord Jamar, he told him, cut that guy, cut him, right? So Jamar felt utterly blindsided and trapped in an ambush engineered by Godfrey. Now, Jamar was not, let's just say this, gang. Lord Jamar was not ambushed by anyone. Lord Jamar just dumb. And Lord Jamar went into that thing with a dumb argument that you can't win. You can't win an argument with a guy that does this for a living. He is a science communicator for a living. He does this every day. He knows the basic lingo. He knows basic words. It's not technology. He knows the meaning of weight. He knows the meaning of vacuum, right? So you're not going to go in there with dumb talking points and win this argument. Lord Jamar didn't know that. So he felt ambushed because he wasn't prepared, okay? Now the internet backlash. Clips of the debate went viral, and the internet overwhelmingly clowned Jamar for being completely outmatched. All right? So what had happened after that? Jamar actually gotten mad at Godfrey and decided to pop crazy junk to Godfrey. Now, let's be honest. It didn't come out from Godfrey. It came out from Professor Dave, who had streamed it himself. Godfrey held it back because Lord Jamar told him to. He said Lord Jamar got real indignant about that video, and he was under no uncertain terms. You better not release that video. This is what Godfrey said. And as his quote-unquote friend, he's going to take the hit, lose potential hundreds of thousands of dollars because that video was going viral. But oh no, Professor Dave was under no such stipulations. He streamed it, released it, let it go, right? Let it go. And it went viral. Now, mind you, Godfrey missed out on all that. You got to understand, Godfrey missed out. When people went searching for that, Godfrey is the original owner of the clip who couldn't put it out. Because Lord Jamar was embarrassed. Right? Lord Jamar was embarrassed. And he put the press on Godfrey to hold it back. Now, Godfrey didn't release it. I'm going to play the video that he just did. All of this is about a new interview. Just so you guys know. Lord Jamar did a new interview where he's throwing him under the bus again. And he tries to lie to the interviewer, who I believe is Daddy from the stop. But we're going to get to it. I got to set the whole thing up. So Professor Dave releases it, if I'm not mistaken. Godfrey's holding it back. Lord Jamar gets so incensed and enraged that he attacks Godfrey online, saying Godfrey set him up. Godfrey's a snake. And Dante the pimp orchestrated his ambush. Instead of being 100 with himself, you lost. We all lose, my guy. We all lose, my guy. Can't win them all, bro. He went and got upset at Godfrey and Dante, the so-called pimp, and decided he was going to out them in the public eye. Right? The perceived betrayal of friendship by Godfrey. Before this feud, Jamar and Godfrey were close friends and frequent co-hosts who even mutually agreed to walk away from Vlad TV together. Jamar feels Godfrey threw away a genuine friendship and breached his trust to generate viral clicks and podcast content. Mind you, I just told you Godfrey held back the tape. But Jamar is running with the narrative that he did it for views and clicks. Everybody does it for views and clicks, Jamar. You went on there for views and clicks. I believe he was paying you to be there. You went on there for views and clicks. The whole thing is a views and clicks business. He didn't set you up. You just was too dumb to hold your own. Okay? No, he didn't do nothing wrong to you, but let me finish. Jamar expected Godfrey to protect his image, but Godfrey released the raw and edited footage of humiliation anyway. Jamar viewed this as an unforgivable act of disloyalty. He didn't release it until Lord Jamar started talking crap about him. I need you guys to be clear. He didn't release it until Lord Jamar started trashing him. Then he put it out. Which he could have put it out whenever he wanted to because you agreed to the interview. Do you realize that? That's his content now. I am the captain now. That's his content. He could have put it out the same night. But he did you a solid when you're not, and now you're calling him, he's not a friend, he has no moral compass. So let me finish. Jamar viewed this as an unforgivable act of disloyalty. The other thing that he's mad about is Professor Dave's persistent mockery. You got to understand. Professor Dave made a bag off of Lord Jamar because Lord Jamar is so dumb. He made this thing. It was must-see TV, like they used to say back in the day. NBC, must-see TV. This was must-see TV to see someone so dumb and stupid and not understand you are getting beat bad, give up, stop trying. No, he wants to go deeper and deeper. And then he wants to, after it's over, try to say that they drugged him. Right? They gave me some bad weed. This and that. They try to say that they drugged him, made him loopy, and which made him unable to perform and answer the questions right. Gang, he had his excuses went long. I did a video on this. I did probably 2 videos on this. His excuses went long. By the time Lord Jamar was done, they drugged him. They set him up. They ambushed him. They used him for clicks. It was a whole thing. So let me finish. Dave frequently targets Jamar's lack of formal education, specifically noting that he dropped out of the 9th grade to explain why he falls for online conspiracy theories. Now, Professor Dave was a little mean. He was a little mean, but you got to understand, I just told you, before Professor Dave came on the live, Lord Jamar was calling him some really harsh names and talking really hella crazy, reckless about him. So when he went live, he realized, okay, yeah, I'm going to nut up. I'm gonna nut up on Lord Jamar. It's all the gloves are off. So he's been nutting up on Lord Jamar for over 2 years at this point. Okay, 1.5 years. So let me continue. Identity damage. Commentators point out that the debate fundamentally damaged Jamar's long-standing public persona as a wise, all-knowing elder of the 5% nation. Yes, he used to look like he was very wise. He got the picture with the books up to his ear. Jamar has tried to salvage his image by returning to Vlad TV to complain and teaming up with other flat earth figures. This has only prompted further mocking response video from Dave. So Dave ain't letting up on him. Salute to the super chat. Him now one. I'm eating well today, Charles Brown, Professor Dave, and the truth about my conscious rap heroes. Salute him. Salute. Appreciate you for the super chat. Listen. Yes, Sherry Ann, I get it. She said, I hated everything about Professor Dave's tone, but Jamar didn't do himself any favors. Now I get it. I know what you're saying. It was it was mean. It was harsh. But every time I tried to say, okay, right, Professor X went a little bit, and then I think about what Jamar was saying to him before, during, and after. Jamar deserved that, right? Jamar deserved that, Sherry. Let's just be honest, right? Snarky said, do the knowledge, right? Do the knowledge. Sherry Snarky said, do the knowledge. And Sherry said Jamar is dumb, but lots of folks without formal education aren't. So it's not about, we're not knocking him for not having formal education. We're knocking Jamar for being arrogant about that and pretending that he does have formal education. And then when he backs himself into a corner, he tries to blame the people, blame everybody else around him. He never takes accountability. We're not saying that you got to have education or you got to be the smartest in the room, but don't act like you are and then resort to gay jokes, right? When you're proven to be not the smartest. All right. Homebody said Jamar got the nerve to judge Boosie when they both SpongeBob and Patrick. That's a fact. So let me get to the interview. I think we laid it all out. But now all of this stuff happened, like I said, it started in November 2024. Some video went up of either Professor Dave or something happened, November 2024. They clashed. They came to a head in the early months of 2025, right? Professor Dave just did a new video about it. He explains everything. And for whatever reason, Lord Jamar's back doing his interview run because, let's just be honest, the jobs are drying up and the money's drying up. So he goes on Danny of the Stop, does this interview, and you would think after all this time he learned something about the earth, he learned something new about Godfrey, or he learned something about himself. No. Lord Jamar is still trying to blame people. And we're gonna look at this video, right? And I'm gonna be stopping it periodically. But this is the Lord Jamar interview with it's called Quiet Part Out Loud YouTube channel. And I think, right? I think Lord Jamar is a teachable moment. Lord Jamar is a teachable moment. And like I said, we used to really revere all of the 5% knowledge and all of the things that we used to get back in the day. Homeboy Killmonger said, so you're co-signing a racist devil that tried to debate the black god, Lord Jamar. You be running out, Charles Killmonger. I'm not even going to entertain something so ridiculous, gang, because this is the simple fact. Lord Jamar is a idiot. How about that? Lord Jamar is an idiot. And I'm not going to back no idiots. So let me put this video on. When you lost, you lost. When I'm wrong on this show, gang, I don't know if y'all pay attention. I'll say, oh, damn, I was wrong. I don't know if y'all see that when I do this show. When I'm wrong, I'm going to be like, I'm wrong. I'll say, I don't know. It's okay to not know. Okay? It's okay to not know, my guy. But Lord Jamar doesn't want to not know. And to me, when I see grown men in their 40s and 50s and afraid to just not know, to just say, I don't know, that's where we got to school some kids so they don't be like that. Sometimes you just don't know. Lord Jamar doesn't want to say, I don't know. He wants to make up 50 different excuses. It's childish, it's immature, and he has no accountability. So no, I'm not going to sit here and say Lord Jamar is the God. No, my guy. But let's watch this interview and see what's popping.
You seem to be talking about Godfrey in a nice light. I feel like I saw a recent interview with Vlad, and you seem like you had some energy towards him.
I do have energy towards him.
But you still respect him. That's what I get.
Well, yeah.
What you just said was very...
Because there's certain things, you see, like I said earlier, like Cooks, he showed me to be a less than moral person. You see what I'm saying? He showed me that he's not loyal. But I still can't take away from the fact that he's super dope. See what I'm saying? That he could rap his ass off. He comes up with great hooks. You know what I mean? He's just a dope rapper. But he's not a good person. Like, you know what I mean? So I can admit that Godfrey is a funny comedian. You know what I mean? He was a great asset at Vlad TV. He was a great asset when he was, on my show and all that type of shit. But he really sold out as far as trying to use a friendship, like manipulate a friendship in order to think he's going to get views out of some shit or whatever the case may be.
So right there, Lord Jamar is being dishonest. He just said that Godfrey tried to use the friendship to manipulate it for clicks and views, as if Godfrey only brought Lord Jamar there to manipulate and use him and use his friendship against him. Not that you went there with this ill-advised subject matter that you weren't going to win because you don't know the basics of what you're talking about. You're memorizing talking points without knowing what the points really mean, right? So that's a problem for me and a lot of others.
You talking about the Professor Dave shit?
Yes. So at the end of the day, I know what the value that Godfrey brought to Vlad TV, and I can't deny that just because I might have a problem with him. See what I'm saying? I'm not one of those type. That's how you know I'm a real. Because even if I have a problem with you, I will still tell the truth.
But didn't Dave leak that shit? Because I don't think Godfrey was gonna put that out.
Bro, yeah, he was. It was already.
Okay.
It was already. He had something in cahoots that unbeknownst to me.
All right, gang. So let me tell you what I'm hearing right here and what he's trying to say. Lord Jamar's lying because homeboy just said, I don't think Godfrey put it out. And he said Professor Dave put it out. I don't think Godfrey was going to put it out. He said, yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was in cahoots. Unbeknownst to me. He was going to do some shit. He can't say what it was he was going to do because he didn't have no intention to put it out. He didn't put it out until Lord Jamar started talking crazy about him and saying he was a fake friend. Then he said, oh, if I'm a fake friend, I'm putting it out. He said they got on the phone and they started having a whole argument. And that's when he put it out. So Lord Jamar is lying. Lord Jamar is lying. He's right here trying to make an excuse to be mad at Godfrey when it wasn't Godfrey's fault. So let me continue.
That he didn't tell me about prior to that. He already had an agreement with the guy. You see what I'm saying? Had I known that, first of all, I didn't want to do it in the first place, but he kept begging me for some reason. You see what I'm saying?
How many conversations were had? Was it like, yo, do it? Like,
Godfrey, Jamar's lying. Jamar agreed to do that with that man because he thought he was going to wipe up anybody who confronted him. Lord Jamar is telling bald-faced lies right here.
I could show you multiple texts like, yo, are you going to come through? Like, yo, come on. And I don't even answer the nigga, where I'm just like, yo, bro. No. You know what I mean? And then finally, he hits me and it's just like if me and you were cool and I used that to like get you to come somewhere, you didn't really want to do it. And I kind of used our relationship only to find out.
But you go on a podcast all the time. What are you talking about? You didn't want to go. Right? And I saw the clip of them saying, we're going to bring him in. And you're like, bring him. They said, if we get the guy to debate you, will you debate him? And you said yes. Am I bugging out? Did that not happen? And used his friendship. Dog. End of the day, if you know what you're talking about, they can't set you up. If your subject matter is that tight, can't set you up because you know what you're talking about. It ain't no setup. You sat down to do it. If you know the earth is flat, then how can they beat you? But you're making it like, where's the ambush? If the earth is flat and you got the proof, just show the proof. Who smokes weed before they have a debate in the first place? Okay, with a guy that's as formidable as Professor Dave. But let's finish.
This is some sort of like ambush that you tried to set up, or whatever the case may be. That everybody else was prepared, like with materials and all this type of shit, and knowing where it's going and all this type of shit, and you just kind of like, you know what I mean?
You feel ambushed.
Definitely.
Do you feel like you were ambushed just because Godfrey and him were working behind the scenes, or because professors are well researched and they can make arguments?
He's not a real professor, first of all.
Oh, I gotta research that.
Yeah, his name. I have a clip where he says he's not a professor.
Let me see. I gotta look him up.
He's not a professor.
Professor Dave.
Okay, so hold on. Professor Dave is a science communicator. He works at schools with kids, helping them with science. He's not a professor per se. Just like Lord Jamar is not a lord. Why are we talking about these semantics? What are we talking about? I don't understand where this is going, but I'm gonna let him get there.
That's just what they call him.
That's like his like.
That's just his moniker on what he does is he calls himself a science explainer or something like that, a science interpreter, and so he takes what people what he says scientists tell him, and then he
analogizes.
Yeah.
So he's not a.
He takes what scientists tell him. You can't make this stuff up.
University professor does not hold a PhD. He is a science communicator.
There you go, a science communicator. That's what he calls it. Anybody can be a science communicator.
No,
but so that I understand what you're saying. He's not a professor.
You have to go to school. You have to pass things. You have to get accredited. You can't not just be a science communicator with schools. Okay, Jamar, let's just stay focused.
Professor. Science communicators are needed, though, because they relate science to, I guess, regular people. But I guess I know what you're saying. He's not a professor. Got it. Okay.
Right.
Is that what you're looking at right now?
Yeah, well, I was looking for the video of him actually saying that he's not a professor.
Okay, maybe. I mean, it sucks because I thought the optics of y'all leaving Vlad and then like ending on some other shit that's similar. I'm like, it just, I saw that. I think you said Godfrey's not honorable or something like that in the Vlad interview. And then he came back at you, Godfrey did, and it was wild to see both of y'all, because Godfrey did, he took his shots. He said crazy shit back at you.
And he said stuff back at Jamar, and Jamar, just like Stats just said, Lord Jamar started talking about, I might sue Godfrey. He was talking about suing Godfrey, suing Dante. Lord Jamar was on some other shit. He was about to go all in with litigation over this because he lost.
It looked like he was trying to keep it like nice and PG, as Drake would say. But it ultimately ended with both of y'all just really bad-mouthing each other. And it's like, damn. It's just, I guess, in content, things can go diabolical because there's an audience. So like me and you could get into an argument off camera. And it's like, we'll make a piece of, but then there's an audience. Right. If it happens here and for whatever, you make me seem like a stupid motherfucker who don't know shit, I might.
Brown Barrett says Dave has multiple degrees in science.
Even if you apologize, I might have issues because you just made me look stupid to my audience.
Right.
And I think that's what happened. I think that's that you felt. I'm not saying you look stupid or anything like that. It's just sometimes you get ambushed. Sometimes people know how to win an argument on camera, And to be honest, flat Earth, I don't believe in flat Earth theory. I'll be honest with that. I'm gonna say that right now.
You don't have to.
Yeah, and I don't exactly. You're not gonna pressure me. You're not gonna like talk to me outside and be like, Danny, you better believe in flat Earth theory, right? So, but you felt as if it was a content ambush. It had been months in advance or something like that. It had been planned for a while, and
But I'm gonna say that he wasn't the one that planned it. It was his man, Dante.
the bald dude.
Yes.
Okay,
The pimp.
got it.
And but I feel like
That's your man.
he allowed himself to be manipulated. You see what I'm saying? By the bald dude. And ultimately, yeah.
So let me get this straight. So Professor Dave ain't the problem. Godfrey ain't the real problem. It's the bald dude, Dante, that set up this whole ambush. Mind you, you can't be ambushed unless you're correct. I mean, unless you allowed the ambush. You decided to go into there and smoke and do whatever and try to go in there unprepared and didn't understand basic words and physics. And you try to say that space is a vacuum. All of your stuff looked crazy when you talked to this man. You're talking about, show me if the water falls off if the water doesn't stick to the ball when I spin it. It was stupid stuff that they make sound good in these videos, but they have no basis in science. He tore your ass up and you got mad. Now you're talking about an ambush. If your facts are facts, he can't ambush you.
Broke the internet though.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, what did you really gain from it? Like, how much is Godfrey the number one influencer now because of that episode?
He's popular somewhat. Now he's not. I think we're so fragmented that it's hard to be the number one anything now. But you still have an audience that makes a lot of money. I think that's what.
Why is he trying to downplay Godfrey? Ain't no number one. So I don't know if y'all know Jamar. I don't even think the podcast I don't even think he does his anymore. The views got so low. The subscript. His downfall wasn't just this podcast. I need him to understand that. He went MAGA. He had a lot of opinions that a lot of people didn't agree with. I believe he called Kamala Harris. He called her a bitch. A lot of stuff he said didn't jive right with people. Right? So it wasn't just this podcast. Yes, he looked dumb on there, but he said a lot of things and done a lot of things. He even had smoke. He said stuff about K-Dot. Like, he had shit about Kendrick, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a lot of things that led up to this. It wasn't just the Godfrey show. Yes, that was the worst one, but you did a lot of stuff, my G. It wasn't just that.
See, what I'm saying is, I feel like a lot of people feel like if they try to take somebody else down, that it's going to bring them up. And ultimately, that's not even what happens. Like, you could try to take me down. First of all,
hold up. Let me just be clear what's happening right here. Jamar has gone through so many excuses. Now he's at acceptance. Now he's like, they're trying to take me down. Right? Now it's to just take him down to build themselves up. So they drugged him. They ambushed him. They used the friendship against them. They went and got Professor Dave to have all of this technology, right? He was going to sue him. All of this stuff. It's all victim mentality. This victim mentality 101. He never says what he did wrong or how he could have did it better. He even goes, I was flawed that night. You saw my flaws. But most people get to delete their flaws. I didn't get to delete mine. You get to see mine. So he's not even acknowledging that he's wrong. He's just saying, well, I did something, but I would have rather have deleted it than rather you see it. It's the most obnoxious. It's insane. But let me get this over.
Most of us live an edited life, right? So that was one time where you were able to see me flawed. You were able to see me not cool, calm, and collected like I usually am. You were able to see me off kilter, off my game, right? But in the society that we live in today, usually you're able to just go in your phone and edit that out.
Okay.
You take 1,000 selfies until you find the right one that you're going to post. You see?
Filter. Yeah.
To where that was life unfiltered. You see? And we don't usually see that on the internet. That's what made it ill. You see what I'm saying? And that's why immediately I'm like, yo.
Anime, hit it on the head. Only excuse Jamar is missing is blaming Rock Nation, the dastardly Rock Nation. And I'm sure that's in there somewhere. I'm sure that's coming, or if it ain't come already.
Don't put that up. You know what I mean? And now I was trying to test and see. Are you really about views and all of this type of shit? Like, because...
But Lord Jamar is being dishonest. He didn't put it up. Professor Dave put it up. You got mad. You couldn't really get at Dave, so you started to blast. You started to blast Godfrey and Dante. So they were like, "F it, put it up." He had missed days of it. Godfrey had a whole episode where he was fuming because he missed days of money because he kept it down for you. I think by the time it got put up, Professor Dave's version of that thing was over 1 million views and counting. Godfrey missed out on all of that money for you. And you're on this podcast talking about Godfrey set you up, did you dirty, and is disloyal to you. And he did it just for clicks and views.
After that whole thing happened, he didn't want me to leave. He wanted to talk about Fat Joe because I had some, I was viral with Fat Joe at that moment. Like, so it was all about trying to like absorb my viralness and somehow see if it was going to transfer into him. And what I'm saying,
absorb your viralness.
Yeah. And like, what I'm saying, yeah, like by osmosis, like get some of that Lord J, because every other week they're talking about
like
it.
Highlander, right.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have that certain something, it don't matter. Like I had a slew of people come at me after that thinking, oh, this is the time now. We're going to get them. I had fucking fucks that were, you know what I mean? Where I told them what my price was. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get that money up. I'll be back to you, and once that shit, I bet your price is going down now, and think they're gonna, talk shit to me. And, oh yeah.
You owe me more now.
So the price ain't that high, my guy. I'm just gonna be honest.
Oh, and what I'm saying is none of these motherfuckers became the new Lord Jamar. You see what I'm saying? Because there's only one me. You're not going to be able to answer shit the way I answer it or have the same outlook or the same
Your
type
experiences. You have different experiences.
Or even the same charisma.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Just you don't have it. So
it's funny because
do you?
I'm doing research on Professor Dave and I'm looking up and like another scientist wrote about him, and it's like he's not a real professor.
But okay, so let's just say this. This is what people do. They try to discredit the person that kicked their ass, right? This whole thing, I looked up another professor. He's not a real professor. That could be anybody. I was watching Professor Dave's response to that, and he said, you didn't say who the other scientist or professor was that said this. This could be a random Reddit post, right? So it's like, so somehow him being named professor, right, is somehow more important than the things that he said to you and the things that you didn't have responses for.
It's like now I'm looking at it and it's like, damn, that is interesting. I just when somebody calls himself professor, you just assume they're a professor.
Don't we got a well-known rap DJ called Professor X? Like, I mean, we got a DJ named the Professor something. We got people that call themselves professor, right? We got people that use different titles. The teacher, KRS-One is the teacher. We got different things. I don't know why they hung up on this. I'm seriously confused. Dr. Dre, is Dr. Dre a real doctor? What's happening? Like, somebody talk to me. I don't understand why they're still hung up on this word. The guy has degrees. The guy's smart. He knows what he's talking about. You couldn't beat him. You couldn't debunk him. But you're stuck on the word professor. Got it. Professor Griff. That's who it is. Professor Griff. Okay? End of the day. I mean, what are we done with this? Are we done here? Like, do you win because he doesn't? I don't know.
And he does have STEM degrees. He's just not a professor. And he probably pivoted. Probably makes way more money now as a content creator.
Which he said
he's more of a content creator that has
exactly.
Yeah, got it.
And here's the thing: I can manipulate a conversation. Like, I thought that if we were going to debate some shit, we were going to debate the concept of flat Earth, not like the meaning of scientific terms, and that's what you call trick knowledge.
Yikes!
So, like,
hold up, let me I ain't gonna hold y'all up much longer. It's only a few more minutes left. Jamar just say, "Gang, we can't gloss over this. We can't gloss over this. We can't gloss over this, gang." Jamar just said, "I thought we were going to discuss the merits of flat Earth. I didn't know we were going to talk about specific scientific language." Most of the language that he brought up, that Professor Dave was talking about, were things that Lord Jamar brought up. And he said, how can you say these words? You don't even know the meaning of the word. Almost every word that that Lord Jamar said, scientific word, he was using it wrong. So Dave was like, you don't even know the meaning of the word. Gravity, the words you're using them wrong. Vacuum, weight, you're using them all wrong, but you're trying to debunk me and prove me to not know what I'm talking about. That's why they started getting into scientific terms. So now Lord Jamar is going to spin this thing so far that Professor Dave was doing tricknology because he tried to use scientific terms. Lord Jamar doesn't even believe in the basic science. He doesn't believe in science. You got to understand, that's where this whole thing starts. He doesn't believe in science, period. So when you say scientific words, right there, you're already using tricknology. So you can't have a conversation with a guy like this, where you can't even use words. But let me let him finish.
The average person, like, for instance, this is a question that was asked to me. Like, if I was to ask you, what is the definition of weight? Do you think the average person has the scientific definition of what weight is?
Not in their mind. You could try to approximate what you think it is, but it might sound stupid.
Right.
But you're on a show debating a guy, and he was trying to explain to you how water stays on Earth. And you were trying to ask him about up and down and how the Earth doesn't fall off its axis. All this stuff you were trying to use to make your points. And he was using scientific language. Let's just be honest. I know you don't want to believe it, but the actual subject of the Earth being flat is a scientific debate. It's a scientific debate. So you're going to use scientific words, my G. That's just how that works. But you hear him, he's trying to make that little nerd voice. Oh, you know, science. So he's trying to belittle it, right? He's trying to make it like, oh, you're using scientific words. He's trying to make it small, right? So he's trying to act like this guy is acting like a nerd. And now, and this is that tough 1970s bully, that masculine. Now he's punching nerds in the face, right? This is where this is going.
So that's what I'm calling trick. Now, so if I'm having a conversation about something and now I move the goalpost and say, first of all, what's the definition of weight? And I don't know. Oh, so you don't even know what weight is. So how can you argue?
Stupid.
You see what I'm saying?
It wasn't like that, Jamar. You brought up the weight in the conversation because you were trying to make a point. You were trying to make a point about balls and this, that, and the third. It was you that brought it up. So he said, what are you talking about? You're not making no sense.
Yeah.
And so it was some bullshit like that. Here's another thing. We've all we've watched movies where maybe they're on a spaceship, right? And then a hole busts out in the spaceship, right? What happens if a hole gets punctured in the spaceship in the
Everybody
movies?
gets sucked out.
Everybody gets sucked out. Why? Because the so-called vacuum of space, right?
All right, gang. I'm not the smartest egg in the room. But it's not the vacuum of space, it's the air pressure leaving the spaceship has air inside of it, right? If you punch a hole in the side, space isn't sucking you out. The air is rushing out of the spaceship. Does that make sense? The air is rushing out.
And in your mind, right? When you hear the word vacuum, right? You think of something that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, no, in science, apparently in science, vacuum has a different definition. You see, this is trick knowledge, bro.
Why is he making that voice, first of all? So in science, vacuum has a different definition. So I don't know it. So it's tricknology.
And that's the type of shit that was trying to be used against me. So when I talk about the vacuum of space against the open, container, the open so-called pressurized air that we live in, and anything that's pressurized has to have a container. But anyway, when I talk about that, are you thinking that a vacuum is something that sucks?
Because you were saying it wrong, Jamar. Just say you don't know. You're stumbling over the words right now. You don't know, my guy. It's okay to just not know something. G, it's all right, my guy. Just say you don't know. You're trying to frame and make words into other words that they don't mean. What do you just say you don't know? We would all be able to just move on if you just acknowledge you just don't know. This is the problem with a lot of these men, gang. They don't know, and they can't just say that.
And then, well, yeah, doesn't everybody think that a vacuum is something that sucks? And now when you look up what they're telling you a vacuum is, they're saying that it's different. So again, this is shit that you got to take other people's word for who claim to be smart.
You don't got to take their word for it, Jamar. That's what the guy was telling you. Do your own research. You've had a year to figure out everything he said. You could have been debunked him already with everything he said on that show. But Lord Jamar is so busy being a victim instead of learning and up his game and getting a round two, right? Even Drake out here asking for round two, right? Instead of getting your weight up and figuring out what happened to you and getting your wordplay up, you sitting in here being a victim telling us about they're using scientific words against me. That's what I call tricknology. Gang, just say you don't know.
Smarter than you. It's all games, sir. So when people say to me, "Do you still believe in flat?" Of course, nothing was nothing was even debated in that night. Like we didn't even get down to anything really.
Well, that's because let's keep it a buck, Jamar. You didn't debate that night and you didn't get down to nothing because you kept cutting the man off. You kept getting louder and louder. You started to call him names. You started to insinuate that he was gay, and then you told Godfrey to cut him off. You said, get him off the screen right now. So to say we didn't even debate anything that night, nothing was proven. You wouldn't let the man prove anything. Remember that? I don't know if Jamar remembers what really went down. I don't know if you remember, gang. Jamar, there were some things that went down because the way you acted in there. Okay? He said, according to Lord Jamar, it would be a flat two, not a round two. I can't, gang. Me Love Jane said, what happened to the days when you didn't speak on things you didn't know about? Jamar is the reason trash compactors have warning labels. Gang, listen. We saw it. We all saw it. Snarky T said he's so mad. I hate anyone that can't say they could be wrong. It's like everyone else is dumb. He has my pressure up. It's a tough watch, right? It's a tough watch. You can't win with a guy like this because he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And then when he doesn't know, he's going to say, you're tricking him. Okay? I'm not going no further on this, man. Lord Jamar, man, listen. Oh man, this is looking bad. And a lot of my legends are listen, he ain't the only one. A lot of my legends, honestly, they letting me down. A lot of guys I used to really look up to used to buy their CDs, walk to the mall, buy their music, right? Just sit there and recite their verses and think that we let's just be honest. We thought these guys really had it going on. We really did. But I guess we didn't have that much access to them like we do now. We only heard them on CDs, the occasional magazine write-up, and I wonder how many times they got protected in the magazine write-ups by the author of the magazine, right? But now where they got unfiltered access and people don't only want you on these interviews sounding dumb, they encourage it. They're not editing nothing out because they want you to sound insane. So now these guys sound insane. End of the day, man, Miss Summers, you right. Our OGs are going out sad. Lord Jamar, please don't talk about this no more. Don't talk about this no more. And Miss Bougie just said it. Let me get back to that. Because we getting out of here. Bougie Barbie just said it. The most solid hip-hop heads are going out like chumps. I'm going to say, gang, I'm going to try to lowball it. All right, I'm going to say 65, 70% of our OGs right now. I can't even say it's not that high. 65, 70%. You give our OGs right now a microphone, they cooking themselves. You give them enough time and enough rope, they going to hang themselves. They're going to say too much. They're going to act too dumb. Jeez, man. Couch Potato said, never meet your heroes, or at least the people you look up to. Gang, listen, I'm out of here. I'm not talking about Lord Jamar no more. I'm going to leave you with this. The earth is round. Godfrey did not betray that man. Dante did not set him up. And Professor Dave is very smart. And he walked into a buzzsaw and got his ass chewed up. Bing said like 80%. I can't even argue. They talking so crazy, I can't even argue. Right? So listen. I'm about to get out of here. Yes, Toy. I did a video when Joel Santana said you don't need to know how to read. That's just, yeah, it's like 80%. But you know what? I know why Jules said that. I think Jules don't really know how to read that well. And he looking at it like, I know how to make money. So Jules know how to make money. Some people could count money to a degree. So that's all they feel like they need. They can have people read the sign to them, read the menu for them. He said it himself. You can use your phone. Joel Santana said you can use your phone to read menus. He's telling you. He's literally telling you, right? So we can't bash people for not having education, but at the end of the day, we do got to call them out. And I just saw a good one said stay in school. SKNL, stay in school, kids, pay attention to your teachers. I'm out of here, man. I know some people in the chat was all up in arms about this flat earth thing. You know what, you flat earth people, you got to understand you're in the minority, gang. Just be cool. Be cool, right? If that's how you feel, you don't got to be angry with other people for not believing you. It's like the people that want to have a badge of honor. They want to be angry. They take stuff like that on so they can be angry at people. Just chill out. Just chill out. Karen said it's 80%. Right? Van Life in the building. Anime said Jules went to the same school Lord Jamar went to. They probably did. PS 89 and shit. Listen, man. Jupiter Jones said because he's illiterate himself. There it is. Jewels, man, listen. That was crazy. I did a video on that. That was one of the videos I was like screaming, like, Jewels, what the hell's wrong with you? He said kids don't need to learn how to read. They need to know. What did he say? It was they need to just learn common sense. I'm out of here, man. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental US. Every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show. Me, TJ, and Fliz. Tap in about 9:15, 9:30. Tomorrow night, we locking in. All right? Also, I got a new video with TJ and Fliz. It's called Peanut Butter Tim's. Lock in. Type in Peanut Butter Tim's. Mornings, the morning show. I'm on the 3rd week of my morning show. 8 o'clock Eastern time. 8 a.m. in the morning Eastern time for the most part. If I do a late show, every now and then I will do a late show. It'll go on later. It might be like 11:30 at the latest. If I can't make the 8 a.m. for whatever reason, I'll do the 11:30. The people on the West Coast like the 11:30 shows, but I'm doing the morning show Monday through Friday. Tap in, all kind of topics we talking about. Black-Yeti.com. Head over there. Let Black-Yeti.com know who sent you. Join the Patreon. I got a Patreon. It is what it is. You can join for free. All right? These some sad stats y'all coming with. 54% of Americans cannot read past 6th grade level. This is getting sad, gang. I need to go. I need to go eat some ice cream or something, gang. I gotta cheer myself up. This is getting sad, gang. Listen, I appreciate everybody that's locked in. I'm coming back tonight. I might go live again, or I might do a real regular video. I don't know yet, but I got to get Dame Dash. He's out of pocket, gang. All right? I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side.